Hello everyone and welcome to my Soap Twist 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Bold and the Beautiful, BNB, spoilers predict that Remy Price, Christian Weissman, will pay a visit to Luna Nozawa, Lisa Yamada, in prison and receive a warning from Will Spencer, Crew Moro. Luna is now alone and in need of a companion after being imprisoned. Similarly, Remy doesn't have a long queue of individuals eager to be his friend. Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, would be outraged if he knew Remy was sneaking behind his back to meet Luna, but Remy doesn't have anyone else to confide in about his difficulties. Remy will decide to tell Luna about the incident since he is concerned about Deke's impending boyfriend reveal. Deke will want to bring Remy to Forrester Creations and show him around, but Remy will know that his previous mistakes may come back to haunt him. Despite Remy's reservations, he appears to be hoping that Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, will forgive him and persuade the rest of the Forrester team to do the same. Luna will dismiss this as wishful thinking, but Remy will counter that she has no idea what his previous relationship with Electra was like. Electra used to consider Remy a close friend on whom she could rely until he was exposed as a creepy stalker who generated deepfake content and destroyed her life. Nonetheless, Remy may be hoping that Electra will recall their past bond now that he is trying to rebuild his life. Of course, Remy isn't doing a great job of it because he's keeping secrets from Deke and going against his desires to see criminal Luna. Nonetheless, Remy appears to believe that all will work out. Luna, on the other hand, will warn Remy that he is entering the lion's den, especially if Will is around. Remy will have an angry expression in his eyes and claim that he is not afraid of Will, implying that his sinister side may resurface. Will had earlier saved Electra from Remy after a dramatic chase, so he stepped forward as her hero. Naturally, Luna may be concerned about Remy stirring up problems and giving Will another chance to be Electra's knight in shining armor. Luna does not want Remy to bring Electra and Will closer together, so she may issue a warning. Regardless, Remy will defy Luna's advice and enter the Lion's Cave in BNB's October 31st episode. Remy is going to have a horrible Halloween because Electra is going to freak out and tell Deke some bad news about his beau. According to the Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, Daphne Rose, Muriel Hilaire, and Hope Logan Annika Noel will all be present for the impending calamity.
Stay tuned.
Remy's boots boomed against the chilly tile floor of the county jail's visiting room, with each step a deliberate thud that appeared to ricochet off the cinderblock walls and return to him as a warning. The guard had already frisked him twice, once at the metal detector and once just outside the booth, as if the mere thought of a man like Remy, tall, dark-haired, with the jawline of a cologne ad, hid something more dangerous than the worry in his eyes. He was not. He carried only a folded photograph in his breast pocket and a knot in his stomach that had tightened since Luna's imprisonment. The glass wall was marred with fingerprints, a record of every desperate talk that had taken place here before. Remy sat, elbows on the small ledge, waiting. When the door on the other side opened and Luna appeared, an orange jumpsuit falling loose on her body, hair drawn back in a strict ponytail that made her look younger than her 25 years, his heart pounded. She'd always been the bright one, the girl whose laughter could light up a room. The fluorescent lights overhead washed her out, making her skin sallow and her eyes shadowy. "Remy," she said, her voice cracking over the phone receiver. She put her palm against the glass. "You came." "Of course I came." He raised the receiver to his ear and mimicked her move with his free hand. "Do you think I would leave you sit here alone?" Luna's smile was faint and fragile. "I am not alone." She looked sideways at the guard stationed beside the door, a lady with crossed arms and a cold expression. "But it's not the same." They'd known each other since college, when Luna was an intern at Forrester Creations and Remy was simply a photographer's assistant looking to make a name for himself. She was dating Will Spencer at the time, the golden boy of the Spencer Company and heir to a fortune based on tabloids and secrets. Remy had watched from the sidelines as Luna fell hard for Will, who swept her into his world of luxury jets and rooftop parties. He'd never liked Will. Something about the man's smile suggested that he was aware of his power and relished wielding it. How are you holding up? Remy inquired, keeping his voice low despite the partition making privacy hard. Luna shrugged and the movement jerked. I did not do it, Remy. You are aware of this. The evidence. They claim I messed with the blueprints and sold them to that imitation company in Milan. But I would never. I know. He gently interrupted her. I know you won't. However, the Spencers have the ability to make issues disappear. Or making people disappear. Her eyes met his, and for the first time, he saw dread. Real terror. Will came to see me yesterday. Remy tightened his grasp on the receiver. What did he say? He said. Luna swallowed. He told me to keep my mouth shut. That if I implicated anyone else, anyone in his family, he would make certain I never saw the outside of this building again. He stated that his father has acquaintances in high places. Judges. Prosecutors. That they could bury me. Remy moved forward, his forehead nearly brushing the glass. Did he threaten you directly? Not in that many words. But Remy, you know how he is. He doesn't have to spell it out. It's in the way he looks at you, as if you're a problem to be solved. Remy clenched his jaw. He'd seen that expression before, when Will stopped him at a gallery opening and ordered him to keep away from Luna. She's mine, Will replied, his voice silky smooth yet razor sharp. Don't make me remind you. I'm getting you out of here, Remy replied, his words a promise. I've been speaking with a lawyer. There's evidence, security footage from the design room. It appears that someone else accessed the files after you departed. Luna's eyes widened. Who? I do not know yet. But it isn't you. And if Will believes he can frighten you into taking the fall, he's not the only one. Luna's voice sank to a whisper. There is something else. Something I didn't tell the cops. Remy waited, his heart pounding in his ears. I believe someone has been following me. Before all this. A black automobile with tinted windows. It was outside my residence the night before the designs disappeared. And then the morning I was arrested. Remy's blood ran cold. Have you got a plate? She shook her head. It was quite dark. But, Remy, I believe it's connected. I believe someone set me up. And if Will knows. The guard cleared her throat sharply, cutting through the tension like a razor. 5 minutes, she demanded. Luna put her hand harder against the glass. You need to be careful. I can take care of myself. Remy's voice was steady, but his thoughts was racing. Will Spencer wasn't just a wealthy kid with a trust fund. He was a man who grew up knowing how to manipulate and destroy. If he thought Luna was a threat to the Spencer name, I have to tell you something, Luna said suddenly and urgently. Before being detained, I found something. In William's office. A flash drive. It held files, financial records, and emails. Things that did not make sense. Transfers to offshore accounts. Names I didn't recognize. Remy was taken aback as he realized the Spencers may be involved in more than simply design theft. Where is it? I concealed it. In my flat, behind the closet's flimsy panel. If you can acquire it, I will. He was already doing calculations. It would be easy to break into Luna's flat. He still had the key from when they were housemates, before Will swooped in and claimed her. But Luna, if this is as bad as you think, it is. Her eyes were steady now, terror replaced by something stronger. Resolve. I won't go down for this. Not for them. The guard stepped forward, keys jingling. Time's up. Luna stood, but before turning away, she placed her lips to the glass in a ghost kiss. Find it, Remy. Keep an eye on your back. Will Spencer not lose? Remy watched her leave, the orange jumpsuit disappearing behind the steel door. His hands shook as he hung up the phone. He had come here to console her and give her freedom. Instead, he walked out with a target on his back. Outside, the Los Angeles sun was scorching, turning the parking lot white. Remy examined the rows of cars, seeking for anything out of place. A black automobile, perhaps. But there was nothing. The usual mix of guests and lawyers, all rushing to their next appointment in despair. He got into his beat-up Honda, which had seen better days, and took out his phone. The lawyer's number had already been typed in. He made the call. Mr. Thorne, the lawyer replied on the second ring. I was about to call you. There's been a development, Remy said, his stomach dropping. What type of development? Who is the prosecution's star witness, who claimed to have observed Luna access the data after hours? They are retracting their assertion. Remy tightened his hold on the steering wheel and stated, they were mistaken. Mistaken or paid off? The attorney hesitated. I can't prove anything, but the timing seems questionable. There's something else. You mentioned security footage, right? It's gone. They claim to have overwritten. Technical glitch. Remy closed his eyes as the pieces clicked into place. Well, Spencer wasn't simply playing defense. He was destroying evidence and silencing witnesses. If Luna was correct about the flash drive, Remy stated, I need to get into Luna's apartment. Tonight. That's not advisable, the lawyer advised. If the police find out, they won't. Remy was already driving out of the parking lot, the jail fading in his rearview mirror. I'll be careful. But being cautious wasn't enough. Not with the Spencers. As he merged into the expressway, his phone vibrated with a text from an unknown number. Stay away from Luna. This is your only warning. Remy's blood became chilly. He deleted the message, but the words remained as a ghost in the machine. Well, Spencer was watching. And he wasn't playing games. The 20-minute drive to Luna's flat felt like it went on forever. The structure was a mid-century walk-up in Echo Park, where artists and dreamers rented pricey studios and believed the peeling paint added flair. Remy parked a block away, pulled a baseball cap low over his eyes, and walked the remainder of the distance. The lobby was vacant, and the buzzer system was faulty, as usual. He climbed the steps 2 at a time, his heart racing in his chest. Luna's door was covered with police tape, with a bright yellow X across the frame. Remy looked around before ducking under it and unlocking the door with his key. The apartment was a disaster. Drawers were torn out, cushions were slashed, and books were spilled all over the floor. Someone had arrived here before him. He swiftly moved to the closet in the bedroom, either to avoid the cops or to hide. The panel was loose, just as Luna had mentioned. He peeled it open with his fingers to uncover a small space behind the drywall. Inside was a plain black flash drive taped to the back of a loose brick. Remy curled his fingers around it, a rush of elation cutting through the terror. This was it. Proof. Leverage. But, as he turned to leave, a shadow appeared over the doorway. Looking for something? The voice was smooth and sophisticated, with a tinge of danger. Well, Spencer stood there, arms crossed, with a sneer on his lips. He was dressed in a tailored suit that cost more than Remy's automobile, and his blonde hair was well styled even in the low light of the corridor. Remy's grip tightened on the flash drive. Get out. Will entered the apartment, ignoring the police tape as if it did not apply to him. You are trespassing, Remy. That is a crime. I could have you arrested. You should be arrested, Remy responded, his voice firm despite the excitement surging through him. For framing Luna. For bribery. For whatever the heck is on here, he said, holding out the flash drive. Will's sneer faded briefly. You have no idea what you're holding. I know enough. Remy stepped back, his mind scrambling for an escape route. The window was too high, and Will's bulk obstructed the entryway. Financial records. Offshore accounts. You're laundering money, right? Using Forrester's designs as a cover, Will said, his eyes narrowing. You're out of your element, photographer. This is not a soap drama in which the good guy prevails. This is real life. And in real life, people like you don't have happy endings. He lunged faster than Remy expected, his palm clamping down on Remy's wrist like a vice. The flash drive clattered to the floor and skittered beneath the bed. Remy swiped with his free hand, hitting Will's jaw. The other man faltered, surprise on his face. However, he recovered swiftly, pushing his shoulder into Remy's midsection and throwing him against the wall. Pain erupted across Remy's back, but he refused to stop. He kneed Will in the thigh, exploiting the diversion to search for the flash drive. His fingers brushed against the plastic just as Will grabbed him by the collar and hauled him up. You should have stayed away, Will growled, placing his face inches from Remy's. Luna is going to prison. And if you keep pushing, you'll join her. Remy headbutted him, the sound of bone on bone ringing through the small room. Will let go, stumbling back, blood dripping down his nose. Remy did not wait. He seized the flash disc and dashed past Will, out the door. The corridor blurred as he took the stairs 3 at a time, emerging into the night. He didn't stop until he got back into his car, the engine roaring to life. His hands trembled as he plugged the flash drive into his laptop, the screen flashing to life in the faint light of the dashboard. Files. There are plenty of them. Bank statements, emails, and spreadsheets. Names he recognized were Spencer Publications executives, offshore shell businesses, and even a few politicians. And at the core of it all was Will's father, Bill Spencer, who orchestrated a money laundering scheme that routed millions through bogus design partnerships. Remy breathed in quick gasps. This was larger than Luna. Larger than Forrester. This was a scandal that might topple an empire. His phone vibrated again. Another unknown number. You have something that does not belong to you. Return it, or Luna will suffer the price. Remy peered at the screen, the weight of the flash drive searing in his palm. He could contact the cops. But Will had already demonstrated how readily proof could disappear. He could go to the press. Spencer Publications' competitors would salivate at this. However, they might bury it just as fast. No. He only trusted one person with this. One guy has the resources and connections to bring down the Spencers. He dialed the number from memory, with his heart in his throat. Rich Forrester, the voice said, smooth and confident. Mr. Forrester, this is Remy Thorne. I have something you should see. About your designs. And what about the Spencers? There was a pause then. Come to the office. Now. Remy hung up, the city lights blurring as he rushed towards Forrester Creations. In the rearview mirror, he thought he noticed a black automobile following him at a distance. But he did not glance back. Not this time. The Forrester building was a glass monolith in the middle of downtown, with sharp angles and shining finishes. Remy parked in the underground garage, the flash drive snugly tucked into his pocket. The security guard waved him through. Ridge had called ahead. The elevator ride to the top level was silent, the type of silence that bore in on you and made you reconsider every action that had brought you here. When the doors opened, Ridge stood there, his silver hair catching the light and his look unreadable. You said this was about the designs, Ridge said, ushering Remy into his office. The room was decorated with dark wood and leather, a dramatic contrast to Luna's chaotic flat. And the Spencers. Remy gave over the flash drive. Luna did not steal them. She was set up. Rich plugged the drive into his computer and furrowed his brow while the files loaded. Minutes passed, and the only sound was the machine's quiet hum. When he finally looked up, his gaze was hard. This is explosive, he stated. If even half of this is true, Bill Spencer's been using my company as a front for years. There's more, Remy told me. Will threaten Luna. I told her to be quiet or she would never get out. And he came after me tonight. Rich sat back in his chair and steepled his fingers. The Spencers have always acted nasty. But this is war. What will you do? Remy asked. Ridge's smile was thin and harsh. I am going to bury them. But first, let's get Luna out. I'll have my lawyers on it before the morning. And you, he caught Remy with a firm stare. You stay near. If Will comes after you again, call me. Understand? Remy nodded, relief flowing through him. For the first time since Luna's imprisonment, he believed they could actually win. But as he exited the office and stepped back into the elevator, his phone buzzed again. This time it was via video message. He hesitated before pressing the play button. Luna's pallid, tear-streaked visage took up the entire screen. Behind her, a shadowy figure was holding a knife to her throat. Remy, she said softly, her voice breaking. They got me. They said if you don't, the video ended. Remy's blood turned icy. As the elevator doors closed, he pressed the redial button for Ridge's number, his hands quivering. Ridge, he murmured when the other man responded. They have stolen her. Will has Luna. The line fell silent, followed by Ridge's calm but steely voice. Where? I do not know, but I'm going to locate her. Not alone, Rich added. Meet me at the warehouse district. I know where they'd take her. Remy hung up as the elevator descended into the depths of the skyscraper. His mirror in the polished metal doors gazed back at him, determined, afraid, and full of purpose. Will Spencer committed a mistake. He'd underestimated Remy. They underestimated what a man would do for the woman he loved. And now he was going to pay.